What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below, as usual. This one is entitled Parents Creating a Chaotic Norm. Basically, some parents forget what they were doing when their children were young and in their formative years, and when they get older and their kids act a certain way, and they're out of pocket to them because they've grown as parents. They forgot that their norm when their children were young and formative shaped their personality. You know that, and thus a lot of times when generations have this angst towards each other is because people say, "Oh, these young cats, they don't have any respect." But the people that are the parents of that era have a hard time remembering what they were teaching disrespect when these kids were kids. It's hilarious that people try to play like they forget that. Like, take for instance, part of the hypersexual culture is, in some ways, you got to think about 10, 20 years ago. 10, 20, 25 years ago. The type of music that you were playing in front of your kids and the type of things you were enjoying in front of your kids, and you forget, while you were just having fun and it was a cool song and it was cute that your baby was dancing to certain music or certain songs, that now that they've gotten older and they act a certain way, that's what they, that's who they are, because that's who you were. Just because, take for instance, if it was the 80s and your parents was listening to Rick James. Normally, people in the 80s who listen to Rick James are off the chain, So that means you in there, when I came home last night, you might be drinking, smoking, getting a little extra kinky or getting overtly sexual in front of your kids because it's the 80s and it's okay. And we having fun, it's Rick James, right? But then when you see your adult child partying too much, chasing skirts or chasing men and getting drunk and high, and where did you learn this behavior? It started with you. It started with you, what you were teaching when they was a baby, when you told them to dance to the song and you made it their favorite songs and stuff. Up to the 90s with I would say the gangster music. You raise your kid on gangster music, and then when they grow up hard and gangsterfied, now that you listening to gospel, now your kid don't know how to act. They're a grown man, a grown woman, and you looking at how out of pocket they act. And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't have raised a child on Gangsta Nip if I was you. I wouldn't have raised a child on Too Short if I was you. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have raised a kid on that if I was you. I wouldn't have raised a kid on some of the shit that I listen to. Even though I like Bone Thugs and Harmony and stuff like that, I wouldn't have raised my kid to it if I was that age. No, you're not finna get raised on this. While you listening to Crossroads one minute, it's more murder the next. No, thank you. Because now those are the messages that they have. And I'm just using music right now as an example. Because it's the same thing with the stuff you let your kids watch. You let them watch all of the crazy movies and the crazy TV shows and the disrespect that you might thought was funny. They might have watched Def Comedy Jam as a kid and everybody was super vulgar, and now your kid's super vulgar and you don't want to get embarrassed because they're in public, right? But the skill level hasn't gone up over the years. It's just got more vulgar over the years, and one of the reasons is because a lot of parents were living chaotic lives, and they thought it was fun, and now their kids act like that. And as you know, as a grown man now, when I see people in my age group, some older, some younger, and they still act like they ain't got no sense, you can tell what they've been programmed by, you know, and that's a problem, you know. I remember the guys who used to say, who was watching like the Mac and Superfly, that were older than me at the time. Oh, they wanted to be pimps and players and all that other stuff, and they taught guys to be pimps and players. Like, and the girls who were older, who felt like, you know what you need to do is find a man that you can get as much money out of as possible. You raise these girls to be, you know, low key prostitutes, right? So they've created this pimp, trick, hoe, hustler mentality, because that's what they were teaching kids to be when they interact with the opposite sex. So now that we live in it as adults, people act like they don't know why, and even generations, parents act like, why you can't find a good person? Why? It's like, come on, get out of here with that, you know. Where I remember being young and used to openly watch the guys openly laugh and giggle and crack jokes about cheating on my parents, my aunts, you know, like cheating on my mother, or cheating on my aunts, or cheating on my female cousins, and, you know, cheating on their wives. And then it was cute, right? And the same thing with the women. They would, you know, they would kiki and laugh about cheating on their husband, or cheating on, you know, my uncles, or cheating on their boyfriends, or using them for this amount of money or that amount of money, and using their money and stashing, you know, using the guy's money and stashing their money, and having exit strategies, and everybody thought it was cool, like planning all of these BS tactics with people. And then, you know, forgetting the little boys and little girls grew up like this. You know, they grew up like that. And now all of a sudden, you got an issue. Because, you know, oh, I want to see you married one day. To who? You forget. You know, you forget the wait and the exhale standing ovation you was giving girls to date the wrong guy. And then when they get hurt by him, they burn cars and stuff, like, you know, like fall in love with dope heads and, you know, be the side piece. Like, y'all forget. You know, because a lot of y'all don't think about that. Like, 80s music was a lot more subtle than music right now. But I remember in the 80s, from the 80s to the 90s, the music was more subtle, but it was the foundation to the vulgar music we listen to now. Because they made, like Whitney Houston made a side chick sound good. You know what I'm saying? Marvin Gaye, before he died, their Sexual Healing, it kind of made the club one night stand thing sound good. Even before that, you know, Rick James made the partying sound good. You know, all the way to all those acts. You know, the rappers made killing sound good. The rappers made selling drugs sound good. The rappers made getting high sound good. You know, they made girls becoming hypersexual and just become booty shakers sound good and feel good and party and all that other stuff. And then you had the dichotomy of your family members doing the same thing, but then you had the religious people who would be in church but then leave and be ratchet as hell. And now you see the growth of that, because now it's the norm to have like this split personality where you righteous and ratchet, and it's all good because, you know, I could do right by you one minute and fuck you over the next minute, and we supposed to be all good because that's my normal, right? And that's a problem, you know. I'm supposed to tell you the truth when it's convenient and lie to you, you know, when it's convenient for me too. And I'm supposed to be looked at as keeping it 100 either way. You know, that's not what's up. Plus, you know, the norms of finance. Like, you know, you taught people just to spend, to have a good time, never to save money, never be prepared, or, you know, wait on God to do it, or somebody else to come through and stuff like that. And it created a bad problem, you know. like some of our financial issues are from parents creating our chaotic norms. So, I got to go because I got to take this call. So y'all take care. Peace.